We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
The volume.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What up, bro?
Hey man, real quick question for you.
What's up?
Have you by chance seen Oprah Winfrey lately?
No. What happened?
You ain't seen Oprah lately.
Nah.
I'm gonna tell you that you probably want to do that like ASAP, bro. You remember when Oprah so you remember when Oprah had lost got slimmed down real quick. Somebody said that the homeboy Stedman had stepped out on her allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, man. So she slimmed down. So now this Oprah is out here looking like that old Oprah again, though, bro. Yeah, yeah. Looking kind of like that, though, bro.
Well, I don't even remember how to spell her name, bro.
Oprah, O-P, Harpo, backwards.
Oh, okay. All I see is this one in this purple dress.
There's others,
Oh, okay.
but yeah. But listen, though, man. I think that the one thing that is the one thing that I think that's real cool though, bro, is that she is definitely, listen, Oprah's out there looking like she is trying to do some things this summer though, bro.
Oh, she out here. She outside.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. She look like she outside for all the outside events.
That's what's up. Nah, yeah, you're gonna either have to send it to me because they ain't these pictures is not.
Ah, let's get
Yeah,
that music going though, bro.
let's get it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube, Facebook, and our new Twitch page and the TikTok. We are on all platforms at the same time. Whenever you click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys and Miss doing a thing. Ace Kennedy. Hey, I talked to you earlier about Oprah. Have you been keeping up with Damon Dash lately?
No, the last I heard, he was out here. He had stuff to say about the freestyle. Other than that, nah, I don't check for Dame like that, bro.
So I think that the one thing that's interesting to me is that he has been going out of his way to try to discredit Jay-Z or kind of trash him and like at every chance that he gets, so bro. And it's kind of like it's kind of like disheartening to watch because like for me, I was back in the day, I was a big it's funny, I was a big Dame Dash kind of guy. And Dame Dash always seemed like if you was on his team, you absolutely loved him. If you wasn't on his team, you absolutely hate him because he seemed like he used to just ride hard for for his squad. And I always appreciated that about him. And I would see like backstage and the Rockefeller the little documentary joint though, man. You kind of see how he was the one of them ones that was basically kind of that didn't have no problem at all with standing up to like the machine and everything like that though, bro. And so to kind of watch him go from like that Dame Dash to kind of go to where now it's like he said that he's getting back into music and it's just I kind of see him basically take shots and keep going back and forth with Cam. It's like all of the guys that I remember him being very cool with. He's kind of at odds at here lately though, man. And so it's weird kind of seeing this Dame Dash though, man. It's like I wouldn't want to introduce Landon to this Dame Dash and be like, yeah, he used to be that dude back in the day. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of people that's kind of like fell off from him though. People that would ride with them. Now it's just like, bro, I don't know this version of Dame. So yeah, it's wild that a lot of people are starting to say that.
Yeah, I would listen. I'm not gonna lie though, man. Like for me, growing up, I'm one of the people who I'm gonna say I'm not ashamed to say that I was a big fan of like the music execs. So I was a big fan of Irv Gotti, right? I was a big fan of Dame. I was a big fan of Diddy, right? As the music exec, though, right? And I think that what I appreciated about them is that, it's like for a long time though, man. Like some of the music execs stayed kind of behind the scenes, outside of like Barry Gordy, as far as the big ones. You only knew of like a few of the big names right at the time, though, man. And so seeing that they were like, hey, you know what they that in hip hop it's almost like your artists were just as synonymous with the label as the executives as far as being a face. And I thought that while Jay was the talent and everything like that, though, man, I thought that that Dame was like, what I'm saying, like equally was as visible though, bro. So it's tough. But I saw he was Dame did a mic drop setup on World Star. I heard him play some music by an artist that I guess he just recently signed, where he got this girl singing something, and it sounds weak, but it's just it's he's making the old heads look bad. That's what I think. That's the one thing that I'm gathering from this, though, bro.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I mean,
Yes.
you you would want to see, and then it's just like the stuff he be saying, like he demeans anybody that's not doing what he's doing, and so it's just like anybody got time for that in 2026, bro.
Like I didn't have a problem. Like this is my thing. I didn't have a problem with him and like Charlemagne and their banter that they go by. I think that it's a listen. I think that them two could have a whole TV show with them being adversaries, though, bro. But I think that it's just like what I'm saying. Like it's there are some old heads that I think that publicly are aging well with these millennials, right? And I think that in these Gen Zs, I think that there are some like that some people are like, oh yeah, that's Unk. But they look at Unk and they're like, nah, it's respectful. There's a few. Like who is a good Unk or auntie that you think, oh yeah, they're growing well with and staying current with pop culture.
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Jay-Z and Beyonce, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they just did. I mean, so everybody was speculating about Jay's hair and him, combing out his locks, and the fact that they just dropped a little bitty documentary, probably 7 minutes long, and people was just in tune with it. It's because they move different. When Busby and them came after Jay fought back. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just like bend towards it, and just the way that they move. Even with the backlash of the stuff for the Super Bowl, and the backlash they used to get for Blue, just everything. But they just stay. You know, it's like them and the Obamas, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you who I think is aging exceptionally well. And I'm not just talking about looks wise, but I think in terms of staying current in their own way, I think that Sierra, bro. I think that Sierra is the fine auntie to me, though, bro. I think that to me, if I'm honest, bro, Sierra is probably creme de la creme when it comes to the fine auntie, bro. The fine auntie that's turned up on everything that's popping right now. The fine auntie that looks the part. The fine auntie that still is culturally relevant, and she still puts out music and everything like that. And people still know her for her music, but they still know her also for other stuff. But I think she is. I think that I also think that Tay Diggs is hilarious on social media though, bro. And I never would have guessed it for some reason. And I find him to be where he has a space now in social media though, bro, where he can still go ahead and do his thing and still be pop culture relevant though, bro.
I think Snoop and Ti are top tier.
Yes. Snoop Dogg is always gonna be top tier. Like Snoop Dogg was probably one of the first 5 people for some reason that I followed when I got on Instagram, bro. Listen, when I first got on Instagram, this is the funny story. I got on Instagram, and within the first couple, let me add somebody, everything. I remember adding Snoop Dogg for some reason, and you know who I wanted to follow Brian Michael Cox for some reason though, bro. I was like, I was like, oh, okay. Instagram, they show pictures and videos, right? And so I wanted to see like what he does behind the scenes for production, right? Because this was like right around the time that I was getting into making beats was when I first got on social media though, bro. And I for some reason specifically he's probably the one of the people that I've been following the longest is Brian Michael Cox. And then I think that there was one other, it was like Jonte Austin. It was just a bunch of people that are just so random now, bro. That I'm talking about the first 5 people I follow. But Snoop Dogg is definitely one of the first ones that I started following on social media, though, bro.
Yeah. Um, you been keeping up with any of the World Cup stuff?
Listen, bro. Listen. Could not keep up with it any less than what I'm doing, though, bro. And let me tell you, hey, listen, Atlanta is flooded with everything that is World Cup themed out here, though, man. They got a couple of matches and everything, and you see all these people that are in town. The city is buzzing, though, bro. And listen, I don't, I know how I've been to LA. I've never been to New York. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Houston. All the big cities, though, bro. I think that Atlanta does an excellent job at being a host city, and especially in like warmer times, like warmer days and summertime like that. City is on fire, city is buzzing. There's all kind of stuff that's going on in the city of Atlanta, and I absolutely love it. But in terms of the World Cup, no, I don't know what to. I mean, like naturally, I listen. I didn't know how you qualify for the World Cup. Like I didn't know that the U.S. even qualified for it. So
I mean,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
like
I don't know
anything
what I
else.
should be.
You win matches. You win the match, you go on. And I mean, this is kind of it, and it's like the first couple of games you're playing for seeding, you know what I'm saying, like to go to the different brackets or whatever like that. But USA won both games they played so far. We beat I can't think of the first team we played, but I know we beat Australia the second game. Uh and so we look good though. Like
Mm.
just as far because I've watched 4 or 5 games now. I've watched Germany play. They had to come back and win. I watched Japan play. They look pretty good. But as far as just like, people who, because, it's different styles of play. Like some people just pass until they get an opening. Some people a little bit more aggressive where they're pass, and then kick the ball over to have your fast dude go get it and score. So, and I seen Japan do that. So they were a little bit more aggressive, which I was like, that's pretty dope because that's the kind of style I would be like. Yes, you got to pass to get out of situations, or when you got a lead, then yeah, you want to pass a bunch because it's like we up 2-0. You know how hard it is to score in soccer. So it's like if we up 2-0, ain't no need of us. We ain't got to be aggressive no more, especially because what could happen is people get injured, obviously, or people can get carded. And if so, for people that don't know soccer, 2 yellow cards equals a red card, or instant red card is you disqualified. So, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be put in a position to where you get 2 yellow cards in a game and then you out the next game. You know what I'm saying? So all of that's going into play, but everybody's just clamoring with how well the US is looking when we've struggled so much in the World Cup in past. The women have always typically done pretty well, but the men for some reason just kind of struggle. So everybody's just like, nah, they I mean, you hear commentators actually saying, hey, them boys might could take it. So
And let
that
me
would
ask
be
you this
pretty
though.
dope.
So this was funny. I saw that it was Spain
Mhm.
and they basically made it seem like this was the upset of the century. Was it Spain and what's the little African island?
Ghana?
No. It's on the tip of my tongue though, man. I know that
See, Spain,
oh, oh,
ver-
man. What is the
Uruguay,
name of this? What's that?
Uruguay.
No. Oh my gosh. They it got a lot. My God, it was almost had it. I just know that there are a lot of the Cape Verde. I think it's Cape Verde, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, Cape Verde. So I saw that, right, and they said that it was like one of the biggest upsets ever. And I'm thinking, like, well, hold on now. I didn't see nobody score. So
Yeah,
explain to somebody who's a layman like that to me why that was such a big deal.
because if you tie, then you're kind of on the same level. And maybe when they say upset, maybe I think maybe Spain might be one of them ones that should advance. And so
Cool.
when you're a powerhouse team or a team that in the past has performed a certain way, then you got certain expectations. It's just like if, when we saw Boston go out in the first round of the playoffs, right? When they were like slated to be one of them ones to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where it kind of comes into play. Now, nobody lost, but nobody won. So it's I think and I think there's points involved with you get so many
Sure.
points for winning. So it's one of them things like you basically are putting yourself in a position to be in a harder bracket if you're losing or whatever the case may be. So it's probably a win for them if they didn't lose to them. So it would be
See,
an upset.
I thought I thought, right, that because this is the World Cup and you are representing your country, the way that I looked at it was this. Okay, this Cape Verde has a million people, right? So out of the 1 million people, if Spain has 50 million people, you just have a bigger pool selection for your best of the best players, though, right? It's like if you it's like I remember seeing this cat. I think he was from Trinidad Tobago, right? He was their best Olympic swimmer, right? And he qualified because he was the coldest in the country. Nah. So this dude gets to the Olympics, right? And goes out there and he has never actually swam in an Olympic sized swimming pool, but he was the coldest one in the entire country. And I don't think that he finished his whole lap because it was just longer than what he was ever able to train for, right? But smaller population. So you think you got these small countries, and you might say, hey, our best 1% is this one guy who everybody knows his family from whatever. And so when you say, well, Spain has 50 million people, and this country of 1 million people, if that, their best of their best held them to not score and advance. I think that I see that as a win, though. And I
Yeah, I
thought,
mean, it's just like I mean, you compared it to the right thing, though, is the Olympics.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Where I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? The USA has some of the best training facilities, has some of the
yeah,
best, resources, this, that, and the other. So then if the US was to lose to a country that is viewed as, hey, they don't have the best equipment, they don't have this, they don't have that, and they came out here and smoked the US, that's essentially, or they competed and finished with the same time as, you know what I'm saying?
mm,
So that's where all of that stuff comes into it. And again, I watched the World Cup, but I couldn't tell you the ins and outs of like knowing that, oh, now the USA is going to be in bracket B. I couldn't tell you that. I'm just a fan of soccer, period. So I'm very, very, invested in what the US is doing. But again, I couldn't tell you each individual rules. I know the rule of soccer, but that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of these games, bro. Before you say that, a lot of these games, some of these things is coming. Like you see people score, and it comes down to people being offsides and them using like the video technology to see, like, nah, he was ahead of this person, so that's why he was offsides. So that's real dope to see the technology piece even entering into soccer. But go
Wow.
ahead.
Well, here's what I think is interesting, though. We talk about comparing it to the Olympics. So I only I thought about that because I know somebody who is from Saint Lucia. Saint Lucia is the island out in the Caribbean. They only have like maybe 100,000 people there, right? Well, here in this last Olympics, man, they had a girl who ran and she finished second place in like the 200s or whatever, though, man, and got silver, and so she is like a national hero. She got back to the crib, though, man. They had big parade. It was like carnival all over for them, and it was all because you think, though, man, in an island of 100,000 people, and then you go and you play silver, and you're going against other countries that their best people are the best amongst millions of people, though, bro. I do think it's interesting, though, man, because when we were out and about this weekend, man, we went out to one of my favorite things to do out here lately is go out to the Beltline
Yeah.
in Atlanta. And so when we were out there, it's all decorated with World Cup stuff. And I think that the one thing that's real cool is that you see everybody out there at games. They had like a little sports bar out there, man. And you see everybody, they have big screens out there, and everybody was just completely locked into it, though, man. So it was like I said, it was real fire, though, bro. And I think that's the one thing. It's like I always find that when it comes to these international events, so man, the one thing I can appreciate is that the patriotism, though, bro. Like when Olympics come around, I'm trying to watch as much of it as possible, though, bro. And I don't care when, because they have them going on at different times of the day. For the Olympics, I'm typically trying to watch basketball, all the basketball games I can. But listen, man, you might see me watching luge. You might see me watching fencing. I might become an expert in golf. Like I'm typically all USA everything when it comes to like Olympics and world events. Even snowboarding, though, man. You talking about the Winter Olympics? I'm locked in. I'm locked into figure skating,
Right, right.
diving. I'm everything, though, bro. I'm all USA for diving. I'm all USA on the relays, especially for swimming. And it's like I don't know, bro, but soccer is one of those things. Let me ask you this: you are so tell me, look at it, put it in this perspective.
Okay.
As good as you were in high school, and I
Mhm.
think you were all state in high school, right? Were you
I
all? I know
was,
you were all region, but
yeah.
were you all state?
Listen, I don't remember all the accolades. I was recruited, like I had
I
schools.
I remember telling you that you was all region. You didn't even know. I read it in the
Yeah,
newspaper,
yeah, because I
and I
just
told you, I said,
that
bro,
stuff,
you all region.
bro. That stuff wasn't. I guess okay. I think because I was playing soccer, not looking to go forward with soccer, I always knew I was going to the Air Force. So I wasn't playing for the accolades. I was playing because I knew I was cold. You know what I'm saying? But not to the level of knowing what the accolades were. Like I knew I was cold, and that's all it was like we win in every game I'm playing. That's just what the mentality was. So
You think you was good enough to go USA?
I do. If I'm not even. This is no. It's
Listen, pop your ish, bro.
no. I really do believe. Now, the only thing that would have stopped me for real, from playing like US ball is my height. Because soccer players are pretty tall and pretty big. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Are
what
they? I didn't know. I didn't think they were. Like, are soccer players big?
yeah, I mean they let's let me just look to see how tall Messi is. Because I
I always
mean,
thought that Messi was little, bro. I thought Messi was like 5'8".
we'll see. Yeah, but even if he's 5'8", he still got me though.
Yeah, I thought Messi was 5'8". I thought Ronaldo,
He's
all of
5'7".
them. They
Okay, all
okay,
right.
yeah, they all. He looks. They all soccer players look short to me though, bro.
So, but see, I think the reason I say that though is because even in high school, right? That's how I learned. Because as a freshman, Coach Key put me with these dudes who I was no taller than their waist. Like they were tossing me around, but it made me learn how to stand my ground. So even though and you got to think, I was little in high school. I was thin. So learning how to keep my balance, how to use my strength, and with soccer, a lot of it is your body because you're shielding your opponents with your body from getting to the ball. You know what I'm saying? And so I do believe I was good enough to play for.
You never had. So this is the thing, though. This is as far as I remember. Now, mind you, I we go way back. I think I know everything about you. I never remember you going to like soccer camps in the summertime. Like I don't remember you training at all. I think you just
I
it felt
didn't
like you
play.
just rolled
I
out of
didn't.
bed and was cold like that.
Well, let me say this though. I didn't play club ball growing up. I learned how to play soccer in Germany. So, and then
But even then, summertime, so we was doing all the shows. I don't remember you saying, "Nah, I got to go ahead. I got this soccer tournament or whatever." And so I never
no,
remember you.
no, no.
I
But
only
we
remember
had
you playing soccer during the soccer season.
right, but we had training. But so you got to remember though, I played soccer full time. I didn't play another sport and then come to soccer during soccer season. The soccer season was on the back half of the school year, right? So I didn't come from track or I didn't come from football. So when we had soccer on the schedule, we were training all that time. We was running, getting in shape. We was doing drills. Like you got to understand, Coach Key played for England. You know what I'm saying? So he knew, and then we had exchange students. Like, bro, I was going up against some elite talent. You know what I'm saying? I had some great training. People that knew the game, people that so the technique for me was there. I just needed to know the game. And so I got that for real in high school because in middle school they didn't have soccer. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? So I went all through sixth, seventh, and eighth grade playing basketball and doing other stuff in football when my passion was soccer. So I had to wait until I became a freshman to even pick soccer back up. So, but all that time, and it's just like now, you know what I'm saying? Sarah and I joke about it because I told her, I was like, look, my boy Charlie out here winning championships, playing ball. He's been playing basketball since he's got to Atlanta. Like that's all he do. And I'm like, yo, I want to get back into soccer. And she I know it's just concern because I've had both of my Achilles replaced, but I've also played successful seasons of soccer since then. It's just that I kind of fell off with it because the person who was my point of contact kind of didn't start doing it. So now I'm joining a new soccer team and I'm super excited about it because it's like,
Do it, bro. Do
yeah,
it.
no, I am because I'm like, bro, we're getting older. We got to stay active. It's not even that. It's just that I think once I was coaching Charlie and them, I was like, yo, I still got it for real. Like my legs still look like soccer legs. You know what I'm saying? Like I still got a couple of years in me to still do something. Like when I'm watching the game, I'm still reading the game the way that I would if I was on the field. Like I still see it. Like, oh, I would have did that, or I would have did this, or and so my thing is like, yo, I still got because I don't have to do everything that I did in high school. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing to prove, but I still got it. That's the part that I think I'm excited about because I know I still got it.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I'll say with me though, bro. It's like the one thing I tell people now. This is the one thing, and people, all the old heads, right? They got all the stories about, oh, I would have back in the
Yeah, yeah.
day. It's like no, I think I
Yesterday.
have three back in the days though, right?
Yeah.
My back in the day was my high school, way back in the day, right? And so way back in the high school days, though, right? Like I'm telling them, like, listen, all of these layups, I said up until maybe 35, right? All of these layups that y'all seeing me doing, No, these was dunks, oh, bro. I was still catching bodies at 35, right?
Mhm.
At 30, at 38, I was still banging them. 40, 40 hit, and then it was like, listen, Father Time was like, come put his arm around me. It's like, all right, man, you done did enough. You ain't got nothing else to prove, though, bro. But I tell them all the time, I laugh because it's like, I still, when you know how to play ball, you can adjust and you still know how to get buckets. You just got to get them in a different way, though, man. And so I always laugh because how I play now isn't how I played in high school, isn't how I played in college and everything. So I think that that's the part that I think is that's interesting. And I think that you'll probably find the same thing, like the fact that you know the game. You always are going to be able to figure out how to be effective on the team, and it might not necessarily be from points, but it's still how to MC the game and make it move though, bro. So yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited for. Is because this, for one, it's an over 30 league, right? And so that means I'm 10 plus over that. And so I'm still gonna be an old head out there, but I'm super excited. And I'm like, you know how you call me after a game when you lose and it's like you lost.
I'll be pissed off,
No,
boy.
it's
Oh, I'm
like you have
pissed.
lost the NBA finals. Game 7.
Yes, man. I
That's how
hate losing so bad.
right. That's how I feel like I'm gonna be, right? I feel like I'm still gonna be as competitive. Like, nah, bro. Like, hey, if you ain't trying to, like, once I get my wind up under me, like once I'm back in soccer shape where because I'm gonna be on that spark heavy, bro, before the games.
Hey, well, listen. I think for me, this was funny. For me, like even now, let me tell you how serious, how like convicted I am into it. So even now, my knee is sore, and it's been killing me, right? Been killing me to not play because it's like you said, bro. I think for me, I've never not hooped. It's what I've always done, and it's like anybody who knows me, especially from 18 and up, knows it's hooping and music. He's doing one of the two all the time, though, right? And then I think that one of the things that's been different for me is that my knee was swollen, and it was swollen, a little stiff, and I was like, dang, I've been having to sit it on now, so I'm having to load manage my knees like Kawhi Leonard, and I already started to do that where I don't play back to back some more, right? And so it's like, so that's one thing. So I've been having to rest my knee, ice it on up, but I'm already trying to project, like, all right, you know what, man, if I can go ahead and it's getting better. And then I'm thinking like probably in about a week, I'm gonna go ahead and actually get on out there. And then, and then even then it's pacing yourself. Let me just get on out there and get going. But in the meantime, though, like tomorrow morning, I'm still getting on up there and I'm gonna shoot around, you know what I'm saying, while I'm just to make sure it's still the jumper's still ready, the move's still ready. But I'm like, I'm not gonna run on it like that. But I still want Landon to get his runs in too, though, bro. But nah, man, I think that it's dope that I think it's dope that you're doing it though, man. And I would tell you though, bro, that the minute that you ended, I would keep finding a way to stay in it though, bro. I wouldn't even if you playing 50 years old, 60 years old, there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
reason why you couldn't just go.
No. I plan now that, like I said, the group that I found, it seems like he is pretty active with it. Like this is his thing. So I found two people now that I know, and I feel like if I can get into that community, even if that team was to disband, I could put myself out there for another team. I just want to be, out there and ready to go. So no, I'm
I'm good.
very very excited about it.
Listen, see, you playing in a 30 and up league, right? I listen, I'm giving YNs buckets, old heads buckets, 30s buckets.
Yeah, but
Everybody can get
I gotta
these
get in,
buckets.
I gotta get in there somewhere though. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
And my thing is that if I can just, because I know that it's gonna take me a couple of games, maybe the rest of the season, to get back in soccer shape, like where I can make
yeah,
it through both halves of the game without needing a sub. Like that's where I want to get to, where it's like, nah, I got my win back, and that it's just gonna help all around for everything. So nah, I'm super excited about that. But
yeah. No, I'm happy
let's
for you, bro.
speaking of winning, and we kind of said something about it. We're gonna get to the big news, obviously, but we weren't here to uh say who won the world championship of the NBA, the Knicks. Now, while I know you're not a Knicks fan, and you couldn't have cared any less if we would have not even mentioned the Knicks. Who I am excited for is Brunson, bro. Like Brunson is one of them dudes. Like I don't even see Knicks when I see him. I just see him, right? Because it's like I know what that dude put in to get to where he was at. He's not a talker. Like, yeah, I know he has his podcast, but I'm saying he's not one that like complains or does this, that, and the other. He gets out there and he puts in the work. And to know that the amount of work that he put in and the fact that he is a smaller guard and he still finds a way to get it, I think that's super dope. And I'm happy for him, if anybody.
What I like about Brunson is, for one, I think when you talk about smaller guards, all right, he's 6'1",
Yeah, but
right?
I
That was
get it.
right. It's like this was funny because Steph. Somebody said I saw that. Somebody said, "Yo, I walked past it. I just didn't realize how tall you are in person because you're standing around these other 7 foot guys." So that's one thing. Listen, bro, I absolutely, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Jalen Brunson. I liked him when he was on the Mavs,
Yeah,
even though I've never been the biggest fan of Luca. I liked him though, right?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
like what he was doing. I like what he's doing on the Knicks. You know, me, I'm just not. I'm never going to root for the Knicks, but I see what you're saying. I do. I am happy for him that he really did bet on himself.
Yes, that's what I was
One,
gonna
yeah,
mention. Yeah,
yeah, bet on himself by leaving the Mavs, right?
right.
And then took less money so that they can put the team around, right?
And
And then
but hold on. It's what he bet himself on. You went from a comfortable environment to an environment that's toxic.
yes,
You went to the Knicks, bro.
and I respect that. What he did was what I think what he did. I mean, granted, the Knicks haven't won a championship in 53 years, but I think that what he did was what all of the ones that came before him and wanted to do was trying to do. Like, I think that, even when you talk about when Kevin Durant and them had kind of flirted with the idea of going to the Knicks, and Kyrie flirted, and there's always this flirtation going on with someone going to the Knicks as a prime destination because everybody wants to play in the Garden, though, right? And so I think that the fact that he's from New York or from that area and then goes, so for him it's like going back home, right? And then once you go back home and you, the hometown kid, wins it for your home team, wins it for the team that your dad coaches for, though, bro.
Mhm.
I can't do no, I can't help but respect just that. As much as I hate and I take that, I don't really hate the Knicks as much as I hate Knicks fans. They kind of remind me of Cowboy fans a lot.
Right,
Um, but at the same time, though, man, I've always been a fan of Jalen Brunson, though, bro.
right.
Yeah, I think that it is funny though, man, that he took less money, and this is what I think that's interesting because I think that I remember all of those times though, man. Like I would hear like Stephen A. Smith, especially last year, talk about how much they gave up to get Mikal Bridges, right?
Mhm.
And so when I think about it, like of all the, because they gave up a lot of picks, I think they gave up something like 5 or 6 draft picks, first round draft picks to get them. But is it, regardless of when the picks are, right? If the goal is to win the championship, isn't one championship worth those 6 first round picks? Like
I mean,
it's you're playing for the now, right?
I know, but I think I okay, I think Stephen A's point though is not so much it's who they gave it up for and what the production level was, right? I think that's the key. It's not so much that they gave up 6 picks, because if you gave up 6 picks for Giannis, right? And then Giannis was able to deliver you a championship, then you think that's worth it. But to me, Bridges, he had an impact, but he didn't have such an impact.
That's true. But I think that Mikal Bridges, when by the time they got him, he was the guy that other people were gonna do similar deals for, right? I think that people thought that he was on the cusp of taking off to superstardom. And I think that a lot of that could have been that, hey, he was just that guy on the Nets. But I think that people were looking at him where yeah, they gave up a little bit more to get him though, right? But I
Mhm,
think that to me, it's like this. Okay, it's like the Clippers, if the Clippers, when the Clippers gave up all those picks to get Paul George, and all those picks to get Kawhi Leonard, right? All it would take is for one championship for me to justify that, because at the end of the day, it's like the draft picks are a bunch of what ifs, right? Yeah, you could, if you got Sam Presti as your GM, I'm sure that might make those draft picks look a little different. But I think that, to me, all it takes is one championship, bro. Because you think, though, man, like the Knicks, that all those picks, the 6 picks, right? You gave up the 6 picks to get him, though, right?
Mhm.
And if giving up those 6 picks mean that you get one championship, your first one in 53 years, then to me, giving up those picks was all worth it. And I think that the fact that, you know what I'm saying, that they were able to maneuver, and he give them some cap relief by not taking the full max, though, bro. When other teams, no, not very many NBA players, I don't know any other NBA players that are doing that, not taking less than the super max on their first availability, though, bro. So nah, I mad respect to him, though, bro.
Yeah.
And listen, and set it up such that him and his partners, his best friends, could be on the same team. It's like all they missed was Dante DiVincenzo, bro. But I think that, you think about that, Doc. If there was a chance, if there was ever a chance, right, that if me and you could play on the same team and we win a championship, we like, nah, me, you know what I'm saying, Mel, Spark, you know what I'm saying, like Randy, if we all could say TJ, if we all get out there and we say, yo, we can compete to win a champion. No, we go run that, and nah, if that meant that I could take a little bit more money to make all that possible, and we actually win it, though, bro, it was all worth it, though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like. I said, man, I really like Jalen Brunson, though,
I do
man.
too, man. And that's
Yeah, I do.
that's what it was for me. See, the other part of that too, it was like I didn't want the Knicks to win because the Spurs beat the Thunder. That's where I was just like because we had a bunch of uh uh Oklahoma City Knicks fans out here, bro. That was
They
just
pop
one,
out, bro.
huh?
Listen, they pop out in Atlanta. Listen, you won't find a bigger Knicks fan than a Knicks fan living in Atlanta. It's disgusting, though, bro. Listen, I go to the gym. That's this cat that I hoop with, bro. This boy come out here with a whole damn near New York Knicks uniform, dog, the hoop. He got New York Knicks socks. He got New York Knicks slides. He probably got New York Knicks wave cap. He got New York Knicks shirt. He got everything New York. And I've been seeing him hoop there for about a year in the mornings. And he's been telling me, bragging, especially this year. Oh, we winning in 5. We win it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I had to tell him. I said, you know what, bro? You the reason why I don't like the Knicks, though, bro. I hate Knicks. I say you because you in my face sounding like a Dallas Cowboy fan, though, bro. And I said, oh my gosh, but all the New York Knicks fans that are in Atlanta, though, bro. Whenever the Knicks play the Hawks, it's usually more more Knicks fans there than Hawks fans, though, bro. You see way more New York Knicks gear and jerseys than you see Hawks, though, bro.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, bro. Let's get to it. The the big trade of the year finally happened. The one that everybody's kind of been waiting for to know how to move the rest of this trade cycle. That being Julius Randle got traded.
That's the big trade. Hey, man, I'm just gonna tell you this. Julius Randle is where he belongs right now, bro. I honestly believe that.
With that
He
man.
is right now where he belongs. Okay, so they traded him to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
And in return, they traded him for Nick Claxton, which is kind of surprising because they got Rudy Gobert, right? And Nick Claxton is like a rim running, shot blocking, quintessential what you require for a big man these days. The only thing I don't think that he do is shoot threes. But listen, man, I think that they were just trying to hurry up and get from under Julius Randle. But here's what I honestly believe, though, bro. I think that Julius Randle still think that he is a true number 2 or number 1 option, right?
Mhm.
And I think that when you go to the Nets is very similar to playing for the Wizards when you are in purgatory. But I think that what the Nets allow you to do, the Nets allow you to really look like a number one player, right? And it's how you think about it. The New York Nets is how Mikal Bridges got his big deal and got to the Nets. The New York Nets is how my boy Cam Johnson, I think it was, looked like he was out there dropping like 20 a game, got his numbers up, and then they traded him out to the Nuggets. Everybody that plays for the Nets, because they're always in this uh Eastern Conference purgatory where they're on the bottom end of the playoffs, like they're always
Mhm.
the 12, 13 seed. Their players get the free reign to just play freely and they can put up a lot, as many points as they want. It wouldn't surprise me, bro, if you see Julius Randle, bro, and he averages about 26 points a game. But he's gonna be, he might be, bro, a top five in the NBA in scoring, but they won't win nothing. And I just don't think that you can win at a high level with him. But I think that this is where he belongs, bro. He is like, to me, it's a match made in heaven for him to be playing for the Nets, so bro. He should just say, listen, I'm just gonna stay here for the rest of my life and retire as a Brooklyn Net, bro. It's where he should have been all along.
That's wild. Well, the actual big trade is Giannis finally was traded to Miami, and it was for a haul. And granted, it's nothing signed yet because they can't really sign until July 6th. But for the most part, Tyler Hero's involved. There was a cat that was out playing basketball, and somebody had to tell him he was traded. But Portis and Giannis are both headed over to Miami. And I'm gonna be honest, bro. This trade does nothing to move the needle to me. Like I don't think this means that the Heat are the all-time favorite to win. Like I don't even think they're the favorite to come out of the East, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I still think if looking at the way things are right now, unless like LeBron moves to Cleveland, I still think they're the favorite to move, to I think that New York is still the favorite to come out of the East. Only because there's ramifications for this trade, meaning that everybody knows the two teams that were looking to get Giannis was Boston and Miami. And if I'm Boston, it's like, what you gonna do now that Jalen? What you gonna do now that Jalen is his name was in the trade? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. What you supposed to do with that?
Hey, listen, bro. This is the thing. More than anything, though, bro, I think that that's the biggest ramification, right? Because it came out that at one point that they were talking about trying to trade Jalen Brown for Kevin Durant, right? So now this second time that you tried to trade him after he was an MVP candidate, right? He was a first or second team. He was an all NBA player, kind of justified him getting that $300 million contract and everything like that, right? And but then he says, yeah, if you ask me, this was my favorite season, though, right? A season that Jason Tatum is down. You say that like 24 hours after you done got beat 3-1, but coming down from 3-1, though, bro. And I think at this point, though, there's no way that Jalen Brown goes back there and just business as usual. I think at this point, he has to demand a trade, bro. Like if y'all, this is my thing about it, y'all were going to trade me at whatever was convenient for y'all because y'all were willing to go ahead and send me to Milwaukee. And granted, it's again, I understand why Milwaukee would do it because Milwaukee, Detroit, Charlotte, Orlando, they're not typically places, Denver, not typical big free agent destinations, all right? And
Right.
usually you got to build your teams through the draft or you do it through signing trades or do it through free agency. So if you're Milwaukee, you're saying I can't get if I'm going to lose Giannis all the way, right? I'm surprised they didn't do the deal with the Celtics because I get Jaylen Brown. I don't care to have Tyler Hero, whoever all the other ancillary parts that came with it, though, right? Maybe they had more picks in it. But at the same time, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, okay, well, now it's been made public that you've been shopping him around hard. You were making a hard push for him. If I'm him, I'm saying, listen, trade me. And I am trying to go ahead and make my own choice now on where I'm going. These are some teams I want to go to.
Something that people are not talking about. Hearing that Boston was actively trying to trade Jaylen Brown. Do we owe Stephen A an apology?
No. Because I don't think that Stephen A was wrong to begin with.
Okay, but a lot of people felt he was wrong in the delivery because this is what I mean. They were cool with him saying, listen, bro, you on here sounding like a lame because you lost. Where was this energy at? You know, you out here calling people out for the fouls, blah, blah, blah. Nobody had issue with that. It was once Jaylen Brown responded with the F, Stephen A, the Stephen B, the Stephen C, and then he came back and responded. That's what people had issue with because it was like, bro, you out here sound like a mob boss. Like, don't make me release the names. Like, you talking this, but you ain't even know your own teammate don't even rock with you like that. The organization don't rock with you like that. So what I'm saying is that piece is.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. Listen, I was never mad at Stephen A. Smith for presenting his opinion about the player because he's always given Jaylen Brown his just due credit, right? In terms of his on court, and he always leads with that. So my thing is that I'm not going to sit here and be mad at Stephen A. Smith for basing your opinion about somebody basketball wise off of facts, right? It's like
right,
I can tell you how I feel based off of the facts, all right?
Right.
So I'm not I was never mad at him about that though.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like, okay, for instance, I'm calling out the name of one of the people, Nick Wright, right? Had an issue with it. You know, him and Nick Wright kind of went back and forth, and Nick Wright just was like, look, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm going to say this last thing, and then you got it. Because the whole thing that Nick Wright was saying, like, look, let's remember that we shouldn't be the focus. So now that you is out here, and granted, Stephen A did it on his platform. He didn't do it on ESPN. He did it on his platform. Right. What you do on your platform, can't nobody tell you what you can and cannot do on your platform. But I think to Nick Wright's point, he's like, you are journalists first. So if you have news to report about, hey, this is what your organization feels about you, then do that. But you talking about some,
yes,
you better watch what you say to me because I can release some information that'll make you feel some type of way. Like that type of stuff. That's where Nick Wright was coming at it. Like, look, if you have the news to report it. But it's the way that
it's fair. I get what you're saying. Like, don't make I hate when people take this point. That's almost like, do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do to you? Like I always think, listen, I think that's corny anytime anybody does that, though, right? So I get that.
But Stephen A does that a lot with, like, you don't know the conversations that people are telling me behind the scenes. You gonna make me. You keep running your mouth, talking to me crazy. I'ma put it out there, but it's just.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at him. Put this. I'm not mad that that's his response. If you would have led with that, then that'd be one thing. But it's like this. I also think that I'm not gonna have you just talking crazy to me, knowing that I've had these conversations with some people who you call your associates or your general management officer, right? And then have you still talking crazy to me because clearly you don't know what these people think about you, and I do.
Yeah,
right. So I'm not mad at him.
That's what's the part where it's like, apparently Stephen did know that the organization wouldn't rock with him because they was like, look.
And listen, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you though, bro. I honestly believe that Jaylen Brown wants to leave Boston. I think he's only there
beforehand.
Yeah, but I think, bro, I think that he's only there. He was there because it made the most sense business wise.
Yeah,
But I don't think that best.
but doesn't it still
I
make sense? It's not like they just. What I'm saying is they still have a very good team, and it's hard to win in the NBA. So where
it's
else are
very
you
hard to
going to
win.
go? Like, are you going to go to Detroit?
I think this is what I believe, bro. I honestly believe this is what I think. And this is the problem that I have with this whole perspective of being like making sure you're the number one guy. Because to some people, they're saying, hey, I would live and die with being the number one option. Right. And I think that it is what I think is that people want to be the unquestioned number one option. Now, listen, I think that to me, I've always favored Jalen Brown over Jason Tatum, but most Boston fans that I know think that it's Tatum one,
Yes.
Jalen Brown two. And I think that apparently for the longest, their front office viewed it the same way as well, though, right?
Yes.
Clearly,
Kevin
because
Durant and
I've never
Westbrook
heard.
all over again.
Yes, because I've yes, and I've never heard them flirt around with the idea of trading Jason Tatum, right? But I think that I think that to me it made the most sense, right? Clearly he can play. He is top 15 worthy because he made the all, made all NBA several times. He's the biggest contract in league history. Everything to me says number one, except for when Jason Tatum is there and the franchise doesn't treat him like he's number one. And I think that more than for all the reasons basketball wise, why it makes sense for them to both be there, I think that he has a problem with that. I think that he honestly feels like when he says, no, this was my best season because I think that it to him, it showed that he is a number one option. And maybe he's like, I am a number one option. It just might not be in Boston, though, bro.
But that's my question though to you then. Where could he be a number one option at? Obviously, it would have made sense for him to go to Milwaukee because he would have been the guy. But where else can he go to be the number one option?
I don't think this is the thing about it. I honestly don't believe, bro, that I don't believe that Jalen Brown. I, I don't believe that he play this. As much as I like him though, bro. I don't know that Jalen Brown is a number one option. I think that he is a stellar. He probably is the best number two guy. Now, don't get me wrong. What it makes me question is this: can you like just because he has the skill set to be a number one player, can you contend for a title and win a title with him as your number one option? He only had one time to do it. And listen, there were times where James Harden had to leave and he was the number one option and they lived and died by it, though, right? And I don't know if there's a team that's out there that's a Jalen Brown away from winning it that needs him. So it's gonna have to be on one of these teams that's like a Orlando, right? Where they just might need one more OG out there. It might be the Hornets. It might be
Yeah,
the
but that's what I'm
Mavericks,
saying.
right?
Then, like, right, all these people have solidified ones already. Is what I'm saying. And
He can
what I'm
go to
saying,
the Mavs. Put him with suit him up with Cooper Flag.
Kyrie is there.
But see, Kyrie's coming up. So Kyrie can be number three.
I,
Kyrie
I
can be your
I
number
get
three
it.
guy.
But what I'm saying is, it's apparent that he feels threatened by the appearance of their being because right
I
now.
think he does. That's a good
So that's
point.
what I'm saying. You and I understand that some of that, like, it's okay to have two stars. Like, Oklahoma City is one of those places that just everybody knows their role, right?
Yes.
It's almost like they got a class that said, nope, this is your role, and everybody knows it. And if you don't like it, you can leave.
And you could be a star in that role. There's nothing wrong with being a star if you set your ego to the side and say the first and last shot doesn't have to go through me. And I appreciate that about Oklahoma. But this is
Right.
my
But I
thing.
don't think
Okay,
Jalen Brown can. That's the party. I don't think he can do is let go of his ego.
I think you know where he can go. There's a couple teams that I think that he can go to that will be playoff teams with him. I don't know that they would be championship teams. Let me tell you where I think he can go. I think that he can go to the Nuggets. If you trade him to he won't be number one, but I think that Joker passes the ball enough and is the facilitator enough to where he can still put up number one kind of numbers, and he would still be the number two guy, but I think that he would still have his numbers would have a different impact, right? So I think that the Nuggets would be good, and the Nuggets would have to give up Aaron Gordon. They probably have to give up
And
Christian Braun. Yeah,
well,
those are dead. Yeah, there's
yeah,
some guys that they can give up, but I'm saying there's some guys I think you can make that work to pair him up with Joker, right? I think that if you talk about, I can see him going to Golden State. You can get rid of Jimmy Butler for him, and so you have him, Steph, and Draymond. I
yeah,
think that
never.
that would work. You might have to give up Pod, uh, uh,
The two teams I
and
got him
just
going, Detroit, him and Cade, because they need some scoring.
they need some scoring. I think him and Kate would be dope together.
Him and Ant.
See, see, see.
You just got
Listen,
rid of Julius Randle, bro.
I thought you were talking about Anthony Davis. It would work.
No,
But here's the thing
no,
about it. Okay, but here's the thing about it. Anthony Edwards is the number one guy.
he
So
is.
I
But
don't
we already talked.
that doesn't put him in any better position than Boston because Ant-Man is the best,
It doesn't. It doesn't. But
is
I'm
the guy.
saying, we already passed the part. His ego is not going to allow him to do it. What I'm saying is what would be the best fit for him and those teams. Detroit would be a great one because
Detroit would be a great one.
that's the number one spot for me.
Detroit makes the most sense out of everybody because he is exactly what I think Detroit needs.
The other place I think that he would also thrive and be instantly in the championship picture is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Get rid of James Harden, bro. If you keep in James Harden, it doesn't matter.
James Harden. But even if you kept James Harden, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Listen, as long as you got James Harden on there, you're not winning. Now you know what else, Matt? What I think would work. This is gonna sound crazy. I think that you can get rid of him and you can have him go to the Lakers, bro. I would give up Austin Reeves for him. If you pair him and Luka, he's not the number one guy. It puts him still in the same position, but it bumps LeBron down to the true number 3. And then I think that you can go ahead and you can trade. I would trade Reeves. I would trade Marcus Smart, and I would try to get the hell out of DeAndre Gates. Listen, you got to get rid of something.
No, I know it. I'm about to tell you. You're going to get rid of Rui.
Yeah, you get rid of Rui too.
They're not going to be able to hold
get
Rui.
rid of him.
Right. So
yeah,
I'm saying
you can get Rui out of there.
Rui and Aiden. Get rid of them.
Get rid of Austin Reeves, Rui, Aiden, and a first-round draft pick because they don't got none no time soon. Get rid of all of them. You bring in listen, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that the Lakers with Jaylen Brown puts them right on up there. I think it puts the Lakers back as the big show, man.
The problem is there's not enough ball to go around because
That's true, but LeBron, let's see, and listen, Luka is more.
LeBron is able to. LeBron showed you that his basketball IQ is high enough to switch his mentality to play what's best for the team. He can do that. But when it comes to, again, we're talking about Jaylen Brown, who wants the ball in his hands. Him and Luka would not work together, bro.
Yeah, because Luka wants the ball in his hand. Now I'm gonna tell you what else would make sense. What else would make sense is him going to Portland, right? And the reason why I think that would work with him going to Portland is because let's just say Dame comes back off of the Achilles and he's a year off of it, and he is 100% now, though, right?
Well, I can tell you that he is. They have reported he's back.
He just won the 3-point contest, so he still does that.
He wasn't cutting and stuff. Like he was just shooting.
Yeah, no.
What I'm saying is,
I follow Dave. Okay. Yeah, I follow Dave on the socials, and I think that he's back. But here's my thing: you pair him, Dame, Drew Holiday, They got the Grant boy out there though, man. You got some guys. You got Shaden Sharp out there. You got their big man that's out there, man, looking like a little mini Joker. You can Portland is now Portland could be a Jaylen Brown away from, you know how they got beat against the Spurs in the playoffs. I think that they're a more competitive playoff team that way, though. Yeah. So, but again, but there's no championship aspiring team because it just doesn't make sense, right? You're not a championship aspiring team if you're a number one player away. You already got it. So he's gonna have to listen. He's gonna have to settle for like going if he wants to be like the number one or the OG. He's gonna have to go to like the Hornets or something like that, though, bro.
You say the Hornets, but the Hornets, especially after this past year, bro, they really believe now even more in Melo than they did in previous years.
I get it, but I said you can, and more the reason why there are some guys, man. There are Miles Bridges. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite players. He might have to go because now if you could put Jaylen Brown with Canuck, and now you got him with you got Wright, and you pair him up with Melo. You got some guys, and listen, I think that's a lot. You got Trey Mann out there still coming off the bench. I mean, you got some dudes out there that you can
get
say,
it.
no, this is a
that's all the more reason why Milwaukee would have been the move. And to me, that would have been the move for Giannis too. Like if he instantly wanted to be in contention,
championship contender.
I don't believe Miami. Here's the thing. Miami has too many questions still. Their rosters, they still got more moves to make. I'm saying if they would have did that same trade to Boston without doing anything else, they would have been ready to go.
Nah, man, I get that. I get it completely. I just think that I think that in the end, though, bro, Celtics would have made more sense as far as them being a ready-made contender right now, because to me it forces them to not take all those threes like they typically do. They live and die by the threes, and when they knocking them down, it's cool. When it's not, it's not right.
Yeah, but
I think
Giannis would make them play different though.
Giannis would make them play, and I think that's what they need. And I think that what I honestly believe, though, bro, is that I think that Miami is going to be more competitive. I think that they'll be a tough team to score on with Giannis and Bam out there. I think that really to me the only thing that they really have to do to me, because you got Norman Powell who can get buckets off the dribble and around the perimeter. I just think that who is your PG? Like they got two guys. They got Davion Mitchell, who I'm a big fan of, kid from Baylor, who I think is tough. He locked down on the perimeter. I think that they just need to get point guard lined. If they could get that and maybe their backup PG locked down, I think that'd be solid. But I don't think that they're that far off as what people think, though, bro.
I mean, I again, we got to see how the roster shakes up because they don't know. They don't know if Wiggins is going to do what he, if he going to opt in or whatever the case may be. So they still got a lot of
Wiggins. I'm not mad.
If they lose Wiggins, I'm not you're not, but I'm saying it's losing Wiggins. You still got to replace him with somebody. And
sure.
So I'm saying you don't know about Norman Powell. You don't know about Wiggins. Who is your point guard? Like
I think you know what I think. Bro? I think if I'm them, you know what I think. If I'm them, I would go ahead and I think that the Hornets, for some reason, if I'm not mistaken, they went out and got Kobe White, who used to play for the Bulls. Mm-hmm. I would get Kobe White. He's still their backup. I would put him at that. Kobe White's nice to me. There are guys. I'd have to check the free agent market to see who's out there, but I think there are a lot of guys available. Who?
Colin Sexton.
So I like Colin Sexton a lot. I just wonder, can you win at a high level with him? And maybe he's never been in a position to win just yet.
Now,
but I like Colin Sexton a lot.
I know you're gonna hate this. I just know, but I'm just basing it upon the year that he had. I wouldn't mind seeing Russ go to Miami.
I'm not mad. Listen. if Russell Westbrook went to Miami, I wouldn't be mad at that. Just for you to have you the OG out there, for him to take to come off the bench with the energy, I wouldn't be mad with
I don't
Russell
even know
Westbrook
that you say
playing
come
in
off the
Miami.
bench because I mean, as well as he played with, what I'm saying is Sacramento wasn't losing games because of Russell Westbrook. It wasn't like when the Lakers was losing, you can like point to Russ was not that in Sacramento, bro. Like no cap. He was coming off the bench, I think, when he first got there, and then he ended up
Yeah.
starting. Now, granted, again, they didn't win a lot of games, but that wasn't because Russ was out there turning the ball over or Russ wasn't doing this. Like they love him in Sacramento.
Yeah, and listen, I think that Denver loved him as well. Joker didn't want him to leave though, man.
Like
So
the coach
nah,
just
I'm
didn't want
not mad. Yeah, I would love listen that now that you say that though, bro. When you talking about you building your persona up and you trying to say, nah, we the bullies out here. We got Giannis out here. Hell yeah, man. Get Russell out there in Miami, though. Bro, Russell belongs on that team, though, man.
absolutely. And Sacramento talking about waiving DeMar DeRozan too.
Yeah, so you got that. They're gonna wait. They could possibly wait DeMar DeRozan. They could get rid of Zach LaVine. They gonna empty the whole clip. You know what I think? I think that what Sacramento really messed up on is I think the Sacramento tanked just hoping that they would get that number one pick. And when it didn't work for them, and now not only did they not get the number one pick, I think they fell out of the top four. It's just like you might be hopeful to get Acuff in the draft. You might have to settle for that point guard out of Illinois, but and not to say that they're settling, but I think that they tried to tank and it went bad, bro.
Bro, listen, Sacramento turned into the Wizards of the West, nigga.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, bro. What else you got before we get out of here?
Listen, I just want to ask you though, man, how was Father's Day for you?
Oh, Father's Day was straight, bro. Layla and Carly pulled up, and Charlie, we was just playing games. We was on the Switch. We was on. We played some card games, just real low key, real chill. Now Saturday night we went out to eat with pretty much all the fathers in on Sarah's side of the family, so that was super dope. We went to a hibachi spot, which in the beginning you should have heard them complaining about going to the hibachi spot, and I'm like, listen, I get we just had hibachi for Adrian's birthday. We had hibachi for Carly's graduation, but we went to the wax spot. So I took him to my spot. Bro, everybody was eating was like, I'm converted. I'm like, I tried to tell y'all kept wanting to go out there to that other spot, and this was the spot.
Hey, mine was pretty cool. It was laid back. We didn't do a whole lot, man, just because we were still coming off of the birthday celebrations for June. And so we just pretty much chilled on out though, man. My boy Landon got me my new hat here, so it was
Hey,
cool.
yeah, this dope too.
Yeah,
Hey, the
yeah, man.
Wizards
I love it.
they drafted that boy.
AJ, I told Landon that they was gonna go AJ because I think that to me, he seems to be the more for sure thing based off of more footage available for the eye test though, man.
Telling you, bro, that Peterson thing, I'm telling you, that stuff, that little spat that everybody was having about Peterson, that affected his
Yeah,
stock, bro.
yeah. I think it was though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what's up. I'm gonna keep my eye on that one though, man. But Peterson definitely is probably gonna be going. And listen, and now to be honest with you though, bro, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be a I guess people say that, you know what I'm saying, like Peterson could be like the next Kobe, or they was talking about the floor for him is Brad Beal and the ceiling for him is Kobe Bryant level scoring though, bro, right?
Mhm.
And I'm sitting here thinking like, bro, they was like, all right, well, it's the next picks are who's on the clock now? Utah is on the clock, and the Grizzlies are after that. Listen, man, Carlos Boozer is advising them as a scout over at Utah, and seeing that he played for Utah, man, it would be a reach if he just got his boy over there, though, man. And because I think that Cameron Boozer is NBA ready made for power forward. Um, so that's one thing. And listen, I think that Darren Peterson, bro, would be a Ja Morant replacement for
Yeah, 'cause
Memphis, though, bro.
Yeah, Memphis trying to get rid of him, bro. They
Oh
trying to
yeah.
get,
So
yeah.
Miami should be on the phone for Ja Morant, then, bro.
Hey, they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, man.
All right,
Hey,
let's get these people home, though, man.
From ATL to OKC, we are the Slash Brother. That's Charlie V. I'm Ace Kennedy, and we out.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig
of all
it,
time.
sucker?